everybody, Scott here with Founding Champions, and welcome. This is my first Patreon video, and this video is going to expand on our Death deck, our Death Risen deck, but it's a special Risen deck. It's not like the one that you saw on YouTube. This will be a Risen deck based off of the dragons, the Terrorgeist, and the just undead dragon Risen cards. So without further ado, we'll start off. I definitely know I want to play with Nagash, so I'm going to play him there. And in the last video, we used Hell Knight Skeletal Champion for our Skeletal Risen deck, but maybe we want something else for our Dragon deck. So we'll put these guys to the side. We might use them. Barrows White Knight, maybe we'll use them. Again, we could use the Spirit Torment. Every time we remove a highlighted unit, we gain 2 health. That's pretty nice. Again, we'll need spirits to get them on that last rotation to make them upright again. Let's see. When a highlighted unit, highlighted enemy unit leaves play, rotate an allied unit 1 step backwards. That's not going to be for us. These are expensive guys. We can't have anything that is more than 3. So 3 is as high as we can go, because then the last 2 can be the 1-point Skeletal Champion. Again, because Nagash is 15. So just anything that's not in our budget, we cannot play. He's in our budget, but a Mordant rotates fairly easily, not fairly quickly. I don't know if we want that guy, so we might just stick with who we have. You know, a Hell Knight and a couple Skeletal Champions, or 2 Hell Knights. The Barrow White Knight is a decent card. You will get that +1 to health, and damage from highlighted units cannot exceed 3. So, you know, after damage reductions, so they'd have to hit you pretty hard, and then hit you for over your damage reduction for that to even come into effect, guys. So I think we'll try him out. Yeah, we're gonna try him out instead of 2 Hell Knights, and then like this. All right. Next we're going to need some blessings. I think we're just going to use the standard blessings. This video is going to be a little quicker because you probably did see the last video. So we're going to definitely play this one, and this one. This video is geared more towards the guys that are a little more familiar with the cards. So I'm not going to go ahead and read every card. I'm not just going to read all the cards. But these are other options. There isn't anything, I don't think, that really benefits us while using dragons. Some of these are pretty vanilla. You know, you move 3 Risen from your discard pile to your hand, gain 1 additional action. I think this card might probably be better than some cards, but besides that, nothing else really stands out to me, guys. But for the sake of this video, I think we'll actually go ahead and swap out one of these cards. I think I'll swap out Carrion Feast. That one just does damage and gains life. This one will bring our guys back. So we'll swap those out. Next up, we are going to need to pick some creatures, or some units as they call them. So here's my unit stack. Again, we're not playing the I guess what you call them, dragon versions, so we're gonna skip right past all these guys until we get to the dragons. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Zombie Dragon. That's one of our guys here. As this enters play, discard 1 card from your hand, and then rend damage to your opponent. So it's gonna be 6 rend damage, and you discard cards from your hand. And again, you're gonna see our synergy based off of discarding cards from our hand. You're definitely gonna see that, guys. Here we go. As this enters play, discard 1 card from your hand. It's going to do 7 damage in total. And if it has Last Stand is if they kill this guy, or this guy gets removed. So if he gets removed, it'll do 4 damage. But besides that, its Last Stand ability is probably not going to happen. Striking Terrorgeist, or Shrieking Terrorgeist, excuse me. As this enters play, discard 1 card from your hand. Damage to your opponent, or remove a highlighted spell. So that's another dragon. So we have 3 types of dragons. That's 6 cards in total. Turn that off really quick so you guys can hear me a little better. So I do like to have a little over 1/3 creatures at minimum. So I do have 3, 6, 9. I'm gonna need at least 3 more dudes, and I think I have an idea of what I want. I think I want this card here. It's a Risen Charging Black Knight. If I want some more cards, I think that I'll play something like a Frenzied Vargeist, or maybe just one of these skeletal guys, just to kind of go with the rest of the deck. But for right now, that's what it's going to be. And I think I'll put one of these stacking skeletons in. I think I'll make it, actually, can't be removed. I think I'll make it this Crypt Shield skeleton so it can reduce a lot of damage coming in. So I'll put that in there because we're doing a lot of damage. Maybe we can reduce some damage. That way our deck has some options. Alright. And then the next thing we have here is the spells. Again, Nagash is really good with this spell, let me tell you. Put that there. And then the big spell that we're going to see in our combos is this. While your last discarded card is a unit, this card has the effect of that unit's last corner, as if it was under this champion's control. So this card's really, really good. The rest of this, again, is for vampires, scrying pull. We went over these. A lot of these just gain life or really don't do much. Recycling our guys is a little bit better because we are discarding so many cards. So these cards do get a little bit better, but at the time being, we're just not going to play them. And if we decide we need some, then we can toss a few of, for example, Return of the Fallen into our deck. And next up is the abilities. This is the staple. It's got the picture, so he knows it goes in the deck, right? Yeah, I guess so. Put that over there. We have Curse Strike. This might make. I think this will make the deck. Frightful Strike will make the deck. Trigger the effects of up to 2 additional Risen or Spirit units. This cannot trigger Heroic Acts. Again, this card is good with your Terrorgeists and all them, so this will be a maybe. Again, we don't have that many spells to rotate. We're not playing any vampires. We don't care about shuffling dudes in our deck. Deploy 1 Risen or Spirit unit from your hand or discard pile into a highlighted champion. Commanding the Dead does get a little better, guys. I think that this might make a maybe into our deck. And now we want to double check. So we want to double check all of our last cornered effects. So we want to see what are all the sweet last corner effects. This will just reduce the damage by 1. This will remove a highlighted unit and damage to your opponent. So it's going to go like this. Next turn, 2 damage, remove. 2 damage, remove. So that's really good. We already have that in the deck. That's nice. This guy is going to do 3 damage. That's all he's really going to... no, it does 4 damage. Excuse me. His last corner is there. Going to rotate here for nothing, here for 3, and here for 4. So it's going to do that. What other effects does it gain? Let's see. This card has the effect of the unit's last corner. Okay, so it's the effect of the last corner. Here, his last corner is a 3. Damage to your opponent, remove a highlighted spell. So for 2 turns, you can be removing spells. So that's pretty sweet. 2 turns removing creatures, 2 turns removing spells. 2 turns doing 4 damage apiece for a total of 8 damage. That's a lot of damage. Most cards by themselves without combos do about 5. As this enters play, discard 1 card from your opponent, or we can do 4 Ren damage twice. So this will do 4. This will do 4 Ren. When I say this, I mean Infected Terrorgeist will do 4. This will do 4 Ren. So that's a little bit better, guys. This does 1 less damage in total than the Infected Terrorgeist, but when we're comboing with this, it does the same amount of damage. But then this also does Rend, so that's a little bit better. We're going to put that over here, put our units back over here, put the other unit here, and sorry the camera's kind of jumbling around a little bit. It is a very low weight camera system. Next, we're going to look at all the other 4, the last units, the last corners that they have. This one is draw 2 cards. So if I had this in the deck, Call to the Grave will allow me to draw 2 cards twice. Grimghast Reapers will do damage, 4 damage twice. Okay, we don't really care about that. Your highlighted allies removes one or more enemy units. I don't know if that doesn't count, just damage to your opponent once, so that's not going to be really good. Reduce damage received from highlighted enemies, so we can reduce damage by 1 and do 1 damage back to them with that card. I don't know if that's powerful enough. This is only 1 damage. We're going to skip. Skip that. It's very bad. 3 damage. Nope, not big enough. 2 damage and gain 2 health. So that'll do that twice. I'll do 4 damage to them and gain 4 health. That's okay. I think that's very average. And this one here is highlighted units are dormant, damage to your opponent. So we can make their stuff dormant and deal damage to them. So what we could do, guys, what I would like to do is actually do a toolbox. I think we can put a couple of these non-risen units in here and sort of do a toolbox. So whenever we want to do something sweet, we can go ahead and do that. So first, let's see what we want. So this is draw cards. We can have this guy in there. We can go and have all the guys with sweet effects. So this guy gains health. We can put him in there. And then we can use this guy. He makes things dormant. We'll put him in there. So we're killing spells, killing creatures, making enemy units dormant, dealing damage and gaining health, and then we are drawing cards. We're doing a lot of stuff. And what we can also do is gain actions. Where's that card that gains actions? There's a card in here that will gain us some actions. I think that's the last thing we really need, and then we can have that full toolbox, guys. I think that's really sweet. Where is our areas? So we're gonna have that full toolbox effect. We can have this guy do some damage, right? So well, when it rotates, it's not gonna do anything. So I don't think I really like that guy. So we won't play with him. But we'll have these 4 toolbox cards, and I think that'd be kind of cool. So where are we at now? We're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 plus 1. So we need to get rid of 3 play sets worth of cards. We need to get rid of 10 cards, guys, at least. Let's see. So where do we want to make cuts? I think that's the hardest part about sort of making this deck work, is where do we want to make cuts. Guys, I think we're going to want to shave some of these damage ability spells. We do kill their creatures, so we might not need as much creature removal. So maybe we can cut like a Devour here. We can cut a Servant Death, so we draw fewer than, you know, we don't want to draw 3 of these Servant Deaths. It's kind of hard to set up. Frightful Strike is just a really solid card when you're trying to, you know, control their hand size. Cursed Strike, this might get cut, 3 damage, and then rotate one of their guys forward or backwards, or excuse me, rotate a unit in the highlighted zone forward or backwards, a little upside. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, guys, we got a lot more cards that we got to get rid of. I think we can make some cuts in the creature slot. Maybe we can actually go ahead and just get rid of this one. I do like stacking so that it rotates guys a little faster when effects are done. So maybe we can do some cuts here. Where's the one that gets rid of a spell? Maybe we don't need to get rid of so many spells. Remove a highlighted spell. So I think we can actually get rid of like a Shrieking Terrorgeist. You can get rid of one of those. So we have 2 of these instead. I don't want to cut these guys too heavily because I do need to discard cards for Claws of the Grave. So I'm definitely going to keep these 3 and the other 3 as my core units for Claws of the Grave. That's going to be really, really important for doing that. I think we can cut one of these stacking units, guys. I think that we're going to have to make that decision to cut. I do like Charging Black Knight a whole lot. It's just too solid a card. I don't want to cut it. I just don't want to. So that leaves us with these 2. Sorry again for the camera being bumped into. These 2, these 2, these 3, these 3. Then we have these toolbox cards. A couple Devours. A couple of direct damage. And then 2 play sets of direct damage. So where are we at now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 play sets right now. So we're getting close. Let's see. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. So we just need to get rid of 2 cards, guys. So that's the hardest part. What 2 cards do we get rid of? I think we're just gonna have to shave from something like these. I do like playing playsets, but honestly, when you get multiples of the same card, sometimes it's just spend an action to deal 3, and that's not exactly what we need. I do like to take advantage of their bonus effects, but if that bonus effect's not going to help us very much, because we just have too much of it, then we're not going to play it. So again, that's the what is it? The law of diminishing returns. So the more we have of a card and the more we get it, it starts to diminish the return of the card. So we got rid of 1 card, and another card I want to get rid of. I think I want to just go ahead and get rid of. Ooh, it's a hard choice. This card's still pretty good. The activate the whatever they're on at the moment. Just don't want to get too many of those. I think I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of another Cursed Strike, guys. I think that's a decent card to get rid of. So we'll just sort of reduce on our direct damage that we have retained card advantage. I think that'll be decent, guys. So we're going to take those cuts, and then I'm going to go into gold fishing. Hey guys, you awake? Welcome back. So we are doing the goldfish. So we're going to just pick these guys up and start playing our dudes down. And I really don't think it matters too much. Maybe it will when we start looking at you know, combos or what our opponent's playing. So, but we don't have an opponent. We're gold fishing. So we're going to draw 4 cards. 3, 4. Okay. Pretty sweet hand. So again, we are going to be able to use our Nagash combo. First turn, we're just going to go Frightful Touch, use Nagash to move it, 4 damage to them, and then they lose 2 cards from their hand back into their deck. And what that's going to do is that's going to encourage them to play a unit in front of Nagash, and that's really going to help us. I'm going to show you where that helps us. I don't think it's going to help us with this current hand that we have, but you know, who knows. So that's gonna go away back on our turn. And so if we had Charging Black Knight, we could play it there. We did put 3 in the deck, but we just didn't happen to draw it. Otherwise we'd be able to play this in front of the Gash and then kill their card. So unfortunately we don't have a combo there. Our opponent probably played a guy there and then drew a card to try and replenish his hand. He's got 3 cards in hand right now with 1 guy in front of the Gash. That's what it's looking like right now. And we are going to use this card to combo with Claws of the Grave. So we're going to wait until we get a sweet card. Then we're going to play this guy. He's going to do his 6 Ren damage. And then we're going to have this card off somewhere doing some, you know, sweet last rotation effect twice. So we're going to go ahead and draw 2 cards. Alright, sweet. Awesome. So he's got a guy over there. I don't know where he's at, but who knows. What we can do is just go ahead and play this guy. And I can play him, you know, or Barrow's Knight, and I'll tap him. And I can discard this card, guys. And I'll put that right here. And then for my next action, I can play Claws of the Grave right here. And then that's what that's going to do is going to use this last discarded unit as these 2 circles. So it's going to do 2 damage and remove their unit. And that's going to be pretty sweet, guys. So if they had a unit there, it's going to get toasted. And we're going to do Ren damage. So comes back to us. 2 damage to them, removes their unit. Then we're going to do 2 Ren damage to them. And then we're going to try and decide what we want to do. These cards work really well with Claws of the Grave. However, we didn't decide to go ahead and activate those abilities. We could have used it with this, and if we did it with this guy, it would have been pretty sweet because he'd be here instead, like this, and then we'd also be gaining additional actions. So that's another thing you could have done. So this would have been deal 1 damage, kill your guy, gain additional action. And that might have been the play that we wanted to do, and we'll try with that to see, because this is gold fishing. We can sort of change reality. We don't have an opponent to really worry about right now. So that means we would have 3 actions and the other guy would have been dead. So with those 3 actions, I think what I'm going to want to do is just sort of start the rotation on these guys. I know using this to gain 4 and lose 4 is pretty sweet with the Calls of the Grave, but since we drew our toolbox card, I think we just might as well play it. So I'm going to go ahead and play him here. He's not going to do anything except for rotate this guy. And then we're going to draw 2 cards, guys, to try and replenish our hand. And at this point, our opponent had no more than 5 cards, and he's probably played some dudes. So we have 6 cards, so our 6 versus his 5, you can see where we have the advantage right now. And if you're trying to still figure that out, that just means he had 3, and just trust me, guys, trust me. So we drew 2 cards. It's going to come back around to us. Deal 1 to them, we'll gain 1. Deal 1 to them, kill the creature if it's there. They'll likely not have put a creature there this time so that they could waste our effect. So we'll just try and take 2 actions. I think that's reasonable. And then we're going to do 4 rend damage to them. So with our actions, I think what we're going to do is, I mean, we can remove a guy here or wherever they have one, and then shuffle 1 unit from our discard pile back into our deck. And we can do that. We'll just play Devour and shuffle this guy back. Killed one of his dudes. I don't know where it was, but it's dead, so bye-bye. If it was in front of the White Knight, that means this guy would be rotating. And next, we still have 1 more action. This guy is another toolbox card, so we could play him over here. If he's got a creature here, we can make it dormant, or we can just go ahead and draw a card, guys. Alright, oh good, so now we have this guy again, so if we do draw another Claws of the Grave, we will be live. So it comes back around to us. The zombie dragon goes away. Claws of the Grave go away. And this guy rotates into his X. So currently we have 1 Risen unit. So we're not going to use Nagash yet. We're going to want to wait till we get to 3 or 4 Risen units. If he's gone ahead and played another guy in front of there so that he doesn't get hit by another Frightful Strike. What is it called? A Frightful Touch. He's going to probably toss a guy there. So because this is Risen, Nagash can play him. So I'm going to play him there, and it's going to rotate Nagash. That's 1 action. And then for the second action, I might just play this to keep his guy dormant. And that'll be that. It'll come back around to us. It'll do 2 to them, heal by us by 2. 2 to them, remove their guy. And then 2 to them, and their lane is still dormant. And with that, I think it would be best time to just go ahead and draw 2 cards. Sort of build our hand back up. It's going to come back around to us. The Freakish Crypt Horror is going to go away. He's going to go away. And he's going to do 2 damage, and their side of the field is still, what do you call it? Dormant. If we did have a stacking unit, we could have rotated this guy by now, but we don't. Let's see. Oh, this is going to be pretty sweet. We have a Servant Death and a Charging Black Knight. What that's going to do is it's going to do some sweet amount of damage all at once and remove their guy again. So we'll see where we are with that. But at this point in time, I think it might be good just to go ahead and draw 2 cards. We could do some extra rotations, but we're just going to want to see where our hand is at. This guy's going to go away. Now we're going to want to play some guys, rotate some dudes. We want to play a guy here for sure and do some rotations. I think right now we're going to do, what we're going to do is play, we're going to do something to rotate this guy right now. So we're going to play this guy. And I'm going to discard this zombie dragon. And then that's 1. And then 2, I'm going to go ahead and play this guy here. And that's going to rotate him again. So, alright, so as a play, cool. So we're going to send it back to them. It's going to come back to us. Rotate to do 2 damage. Rotate for nothing over here. And guys, for us, I think what we're going to do is go ahead and play this here. Because that guy's all used up. We're going to want to put a stacking guy. And then we're going to want to draw a card. So that's going to be 1 card drawn. Alright, so this is our other toolbox card, or gain 1 health here, and draw 2 cards. let's see. So we're preventing 2 damage in these 3 lanes. And now we're finally going to do 3 damage to them. Guys, we're waiting till it gets to that 4 before we use our Serve and Death. And we're going to try and put that Serve and Death with something else. Right now we got 1, 2, we got 1, 2 Risen. No, we can't move the location of these cards. We got 2 Risens, and we got 3 Risen cards right now. It might be good enough to use Nagash's ability. I think I'll use Nagash's ability, and I'll get 1, 2, 3 Risen cards from my graveyard, or from my discard pile, whatever they want to call it. Let's discard. Now I'm going to want to play a guy. Let's see. When it gets to that 4, that's when I'm going to want to drop some extra damage. So we're going to want to, let's see. We're going to play a zombie dragon here and discarding the other zombie dragon for nothing. And then when it comes back around to us, like this, he's going to go away. Still preventing 2. He probably prevent a lot of damage this turn. 2 rend, 4 damage. And then now what we're going to do is we are going to play 1 action. It's going to do nothing yet. But that's okay because we're going to do 6 damage with this card. We're going to do 6 whole damage with this. And we're going to have him use it. Or we're going to have Nagash use it. So it's going to affect this whole area. We could have him use it. Again. Oh, you know what we forgot to do, guys? Forgot to rotate this guy for a blessing. So we're going to count that as a mistrigger so we learn from our mistakes later. We'll rotate that blessing a little bit. I know I'm talking a lot. It's kind of hard to make all the right plays while I'm talking. But we just did 6 damage to them, and I think that's pretty good, if you ask me. So that's 2 actions. It's going to come back to us. 2 damage to them, 4 Ren damage, and this guy's going to go away. And then what we're going to do, guys, I think we're just going to go ahead and draw 2 cards. It would have been nice. Oopsie, these cards are stuck together. I think it would have been nice to see what that Barrows White was going to do, but oh well, that's such is life. So it's back to us. We're going to need to play a Risen unit there, so we're going to play this Risen unit. I'm going to discard this. Oh, this guy's gone, by the way. All that talking, I'm not paying attention. So that guy's gone. We'll discard Feasting Varagolf. Probably kill a guy over there. So it's going to trigger this. Gotta shuffle a unit back in. Shuffle this guy back in. This guy gets rotated, because I won't forget this time. And if they had any spells, it's going to get destroyed. We're going to see what that blessing is. And it's Morbid Terror, so every time I deploy a unit, I get to deal 2 damage to them, and they shuffle a card back in their deck. That's pretty sweet. And that is, I think, where I want to end the Goldfish. So, guys, thanks for watching.